Okay, so you want to talk about Spanish politics. Buckle up, because things are getting really interesting over there.
Yeah, it's been pretty wild lately with some major stories developing.
And we are diving deep into these stories today using 3 articles from RTVE, Spain's Public Broadcasting Corporation, all dated today, October 14th, 2024.
We're talking accusations of corruption,
Yeah.
controversial laws. It's high drama in the world of Spanish politics.
Exactly. And first up is this thing called Caso Koldo. It sounds like something out of a movie, right?
It really does, and in a way it kind of is.
Caso Koldo is a massive scandal that's rocking Spain's political scene. But you might be thinking, why on earth is it called that?
Well, it all comes back to this guy named Koldo. That's actually the nickname of a former police chief, José Manuel Villarejo.
And, how do I put this? Let's just say he's a character. He's become kind of a symbol of corruption in Spain.
To say the least, there are all these allegations swirling around Villarejo, everything from espionage and blackmail to some seriously shady business dealings.
And now the main opposition party, the Partido Popular, or PP, is claiming that the ruling party, the Partido Socialista Obrero Español, or PSOE, might be mixed up in this whole mess.
Yeah, they're accusing the PSOE of being involved in some heavy financial crimes. We're talking illegal party financing, bribery, you name it.
And they're not just throwing these accusations around in the press or anything. They're taking it very seriously.
Seriously. They've gone as far as filing a querella, which is basically a formal legal complaint with the Audiencia Nacional.
And that's not something to take lightly.
Not at all. The Audiencia Nacional is Spain's highest criminal court.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is a big deal.
I mean, that really sends a message.
Right. It means these allegations are being taken very, very seriously, and this whole thing could have huge consequences for the PSOE.
Especially for one former PSOE minister in particular, José Luis Ábalos.
Yeah, his name keeps popping up more and more.
And not in a good way. This case has been dragging on for 8 months now, but things really blew up after a report from the Guardia Civil implicated Ábalos.
The Guardia Civil is Spain's law enforcement agency. Basically, their equivalent of the FBI. So when they say something's up, people listen.
And what they're saying is that Ábalos played a relevant and responsible role in this whole alleged corruption scheme.
Yikes. That's gotta sting, especially when you're a former government minister trying to keep a low profile.
Right. And it doesn't help that we have sources like The Objective, this digital news outlet that's known for its investigative reporting. They're claiming to have even more dirt on Ábalos.
You know how it is, once one thing comes out, everybody starts digging.
And the PP is absolutely not letting this opportunity pass them by. They're using this whole thing to paint the PSOE as totally corrupt and completely unfit to govern.
Well, for sure. They're saying that the government is bleeding out because of this scandal and that this is just the beginning.
Like we're only seeing the tip of the iceberg.
Exactly. They're saying just wait until all the details come out. Then we'll see just how bad it really is. And it's crazy how this whole Caso Koldo thing is unfolding at the same time as this other massive controversy.
Yeah, what's going on with ETA is a huge deal, too.
Talk about a sensitive topic. You know, ETA
ETA, the Basque terrorist group, obviously a really dark part of Spain's history.
Right. Well, the Senate voted on this law today, and on the surface, it seems pretty straightforward.
Yeah, it's about transferring prison sentences between European countries.
Sounds simple enough, right? But that's where it gets messy.
Oh, I bet. So what's the catch?
Well, there was this last-minute amendment added, and it could actually end up affecting prisoners convicted of terrorism.
Wait, so that includes ETA members?
Potentially, yeah. You can imagine how well that's going over.
I can only imagine. Yeah, try even suggesting leniency towards ETA prisoners in Spain.
It's like lighting a match next to a powder keg. You're just asking for an explosion.
Exactly. And the political gamesmanship around this whole thing is unbelievable.
It's a total mess, right? The PP actually supported the initial law, the one about transferring sentences.
Right, I remember that.
But the second that amendment about the ETA prisoners got added, they completely flipped.
And now they want nothing to do with it.
Exactly. They're pulling out all the stops, even using these procedural tactics to try and stall the whole thing.
They were playing hardball.
They are.
Yeah.
And of course, they're accusing the PSOE of breaking promises, putting politics ahead of the victims of terrorism, you know, the drill.
It's such a sensitive issue, though, for a lot of people in Spain. I mean,
Yeah.
This is personal.
Absolutely. RTVE talked about this. PP's Senator Marimar Blanco. Her brother was actually murdered by ETA.
Wow, that's awful.
It is. And her testimony about this whole thing was heartbreaking. She directly challenged the PSOE, accused them of betraying the victims.
That's intense.
It was a powerful moment.
Yeah.
And it's not just her. The AVT, the Victims of Terrorism Association, They confronted the prime minister directly.
No way.
Accused him of being on the side of the terrorists. It's completely blown up.
This is crazy. So much drama.
So much. But it's important to remember it's not as simple as it seems. This law doesn't just say, okay, free all the ETA prisoners.
Right? Of course not. There's always more to the story. And as if dealing with a huge corruption scandal and a debate about ETA prisoners wasn't enough, Prime Minister Sanchez is also facing another massive challenge: Spain's housing crisis.
Yeah, this has been a problem for a while, but it feels like it's really come to a head recently.
Absolutely. RTVE has been covering all the protests. People are frustrated. They want to see some action.
It's a huge issue. The cost of housing in Spain is insane right now. It's putting a real strain on people trying to buy or rent a place.
And with everything else going on, it's a tough situation for Sanchez to navigate.
He's really walking a tightrope here, trying to project this sense of control and leadership, but at the same time, people are angry.
He's calling for unity and action on this housing issue.
Which is what they're supposed to say, right?
Right, but it's one thing to say it and another to actually do it.
Exactly. And that's what everyone's waiting to see. He did make one interesting comment, though. RTVE quoted him saying, "I don't want a Spain of rich owners and poor renters."
That's a pretty loaded statement.
It is. Especially in the context of Spain. You see, Spain actually has a very high rate of home ownership historically. It's a big part of their culture.
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yeah, but in recent years, that's become harder and harder for a lot of Spaniards to achieve. So when Sanchez says something like that, it's definitely meant to get people's attention.
Like he knows how important this is to people, how much anxiety it's causing.
Exactly. But again, actions speak louder than words. Everyone's watching to see what he actually does about it.
Because while he's calling for collaboration and unity, the people out in the streets, they want to see results.
And they want him now. Some people are even calling for his housing minister to resign.
Wow. So this is getting serious.
It is. It's a very volatile situation. Housing is such a fundamental issue, you know?
Absolutely. It affects everyone.
Exactly. It's not just about politics. It's about people's lives. So yeah, this housing crisis could really make or break Sanchez's time as prime minister.
It's amazing how much is going on in Spanish politics right now. We've got the Caso Koldo scandal, this whole ETA prisoner debate, and this housing crisis that's affecting so many people. There's a lot to keep track of.
It really is. And it makes you think about the future of Spain. You know?
Yeah.
What direction are they headed?
It's a question worth considering, for sure.
Yep.
And you know what? It's something we'll definitely be keeping an eye on in future deep dives. So for everyone listening, be sure to stay tuned because,
We'll be here to break it all down for you.
Until next time.